All right. So if you sat me down at a bar and made me name out every single Dagger whitewater boat, I would probably be at like the Katana before I remembered the Axiom. Or at least that's the way it would have been a month ago. The Axiom, just for starters, most people won't even consider because it's been a dark horse pretty much since the day it came out. So I feel like it's appropriate to start there and work forward. So when the Axiom came out, it was kind of chasing some other things which were going on in the market, at least in my mindset, with Piranha dropping the Loki and the Veyroon. Neither of which did great, but speculatively, I can see why all of a sudden out came the Axiom. It was about the time that the RPM was being phased out. Made sense. That said, we entered a period in whitewater where we were doing two extreme things. We were doing incredible things in playboats, and we were dropping bigger waterfalls with more frequency than we basically ever had or have since in suddenly really, really good creek boats. And then, kind of insert into the dead center of that, this freeride boat in a time where freeride doesn't exist anymore, and it's kind of been forgotten about, with like a Mamba looking bottom, and yeah, it just didn't work. Now, however, let's skip to today. Everyone's talking about RPMs, rippers, and Braaps, and freeride is king again. Which is awesome for starters. But in that conversation should be the Axiom. I've come to realize that. This boat is already most of the things that I was looking for, and then some things that I didn't realize it was when I got into it. So first of all, I've discussed in both my Braaap and my Ripper videos reasons why 9 feet for a freeride boat doesn't make any sense. So boom, we're down to 8.5. Man, is that a sweet spot. I already was instantly just standing up easier, but also had volume in my stern where I needed it, when I needed it, and wasn't getting hammered doing stuff. I don't ever remember tail walking when I didn't want to be, and when I did want to stand the boat up, no problem. Could pretty much cartwheel it into splats and stuff like that. And the reason for that, at least to my mind, is that I could paddle a medium-sized boat I'm now right around 200 pounds. And because it has like a Mamba bottom, there are a lot of memes about how the Axiom's a slicey or squashed Mamba. I'll put one up right here. Because of that, the boat is still super intuitive to paddle. If you're on the larger side of a Braaap or the larger side of a medium Ripper, it is a little spooky. The boat's always squirreling away from you, and part of the reason why I love them is I'm always reining them back in. I never had that feeling with the Axiom. It was by far the most intuitive and approachable boat that I've paddled in this class yet. Now, all that being said, I'm sure there's a negative in here somewhere, and the one I can think of that won't necessarily apply to everyone is this. At the end of the day, this is still a Mamba style hull, right? So a lot of planing area, which probably will eventually give you issues bouncing off rocks. Now, there's also some positives to this though, right? So it's very easy to surf, very quick in the surf, and it's also very good with bigger water because it just grabs and goes just like the Mamba does. So what else about this boat should encourage you to give it a shot over alongside its competition? Dagger Contour Ergo outfitting. It's sweet. might be the lightest boat in its class if you compare the 8.5 to, other 9-foot boats. Right away, there should be less plastic. It feels super light. And then also, if you're buying one of these retail, look at your warranty. Not only could you, do payments on this thing if you wanted to, but you're already walking into a warranty that's either 4 or 2 years longer, and a better replacement, easier to get that boat, less questions and hassle, than any of the competitors on the market. Which, if you need a boat, it's awesome. The reality for a lot of people is becoming that you have a really good creeker that you rely on in the spring. You have a really good play boat if you're into that. And then you have one of these freeride boats. And the freeride boat is probably going to take the most abuse. It's probably going to get a majority of the seat time, and you're going to splat and run low water and do silly things in it. So the warranty is a really solid investment. Yeah. So much took me by surprise with this boat. I don't think it's ever going to be everyone's cup of tea. And definitely, there are always some people who are following the latest and greatest who aren't even going to consider this. But let me tell you, think about the Axiom. If you get a chance, get in the 8.5 and give it a go. If you're a smaller paddler, there are a ton of others, all the way down to kid boat sizes for this thing. The one caveat I would say to that, maybe that should have been the one negative thing, is I really don't like the 9-footer. I don't think it just stretched out right. My prejudice against 9-foot boats aside, I haven't talked to anyone who liked the 9-foot Axiom. So, yeah, if you're on the bigger side, like I said, right around 200, you're going to be super good in the 8.5. I have friends who paddle it up into 230s, 220s, who also enjoy this boat. Old school boaters, if you're not willing to do an RPM, you want something a little more comfortable, a little more modern, this is going to be your sweet spot, because most of you guys are looking to surf, little glassy waves. This does that awesome. The one place that this boat got wedged into for a long time was as a learner, beginner, kind of jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife kind of boat, which is, I think, part of why it got a negative reputation. So if someone's pushing you this way as a beginner and you have any aspirations to kind of push the edges of your comfort zone, run stuff at kind of higher or lower, not like at a release where it's always going to be the same, look at something which is a little more capable. I look at all these freeride boats as quiver boats. So, like I said, got a good creeker, good play boat, get one of these. But enjoy it. I hope you give these a shot.